Let me start the recording. All right. Hey guys, so yeah, welcome to the virtual productions track of the Miami Science Fiction Film Festival. We're actually going to be talking about exclusively virtual productions today with our all-star audience, so to speak, our all-star panelists. And then tomorrow we actually added an extra section on XR, on AR, VR, because we have an overflow of speakers and excellent content. So we actually have a Tyler here today who submitted for the AR, like his AR short film. So we'll be doing a lot of that tomorrow. So we'll go around the room and introduce everyone. And let me, all right, okay. Don't have permission to live stream, so we'll record this and put the links up later. All right. So Brian, Hazel, Alvaro, Juan, and missing a couple of the speakers. So as they come, we'll introduce them. So yeah, we're very happy to have you guys here. This is our third year doing AR VR virtual production. Actually, the previous years we've done AR VR. This year where we're doing our virtual production. So in the past, I think we kind of like said virtual production was something else. Like we added that to like the XR aspect, especially when we did a lot of Magic Leap type content. We used the Magic Leap headsets as actually like a virtual production tool on set. So we did a lot of hands-on workshops in person with the Magic Leap evangelists. So this year we're actually going to be, now that we have Brian on board, we're actually going to go actual virtual production rather than trying to like, kind of shimmy it into something else. So we'll just go around the room and we'll give each panelist, starting with Brian, 5 minutes to introduce themselves, including any videos, and then we'll go into the panel discussion. And this, for everyone in the audience, this session is about an hour and 50 minutes. So Brian, the floor is yours.
Hello, my name is Brian Poole. I'm a technical program manager at Epic Games, and I'm also the academic dean of the Unreal Fellowship. And my background has been entirely in film production, primarily. I've worked on a number of different films, maybe about 25 to 27 films, mainly as a previs supervisor, helping directors kind of pre-visualize their films before they actually go out and shoot them. And, it's been quite a bit on like, cutting edge kind of technology, even if it was, several years ago. It's all kind of led me up into working in working with game engines. And I kind of cut my teeth using game engines on CryEngine, actually, and then moved over to Unreal. And I've been working at Epic now for about 3.5 years, approximately. And it's a great experience. And it's really interesting to be able to, apply game engine tech towards making movies now. Now, I haven't worked doing pre-visualization in a couple of years now, because I've been spending the time with Epic, helping to perfect the technology and help teach the technology to a lot of individuals who are interested in virtual production. So it's been a really good opportunity for me, and learning all this new technology. It's been exciting.
Excellent. And very happy to have Brian here. And as some of you know, we host the official Unreal Engine user group in South Florida, in addition to the Unity and Magic Leap user groups. But with Unreal Engine in particular, that seems to be where a lot of our user group members and our SciFi Film Festival regulars are using that game engine in particular for filmmaking. In fact, one of our Magic Leap grant applications was for a project called Ghost Killers with Jeremy Piven. So originally it was a augmented reality game, and now it's also a movie with Jeremy Piven. So that's the type of thing that we'll be doing more this year. As we get more into Unreal Engine, we'll be creating the regular content, but also hopefully with Brian's help, we'll actually be creating short films that we'll show throughout the year through Miami Sci-Fi Film Festival. So thanks, Brian, for being here. So let's go to Alvaro. I know, Alvaro, I know you have a QR code to share as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna try maybe to share the
man.
video straight. Anyway, thank you for the opportunity. I'm really excited to see this bunch of amazing people. Glad to meet you, Brian, finally. So yeah, my name is Alvaro. My background is VFX in the last 10 years. When I say VFX, I mean like anything, like generalist, from crowds at ILM to tech animation in MPC or generalist in DNEC. But it is true, and now you mentioned CryEngine to Unreal Engine. My past is not from CryEngine, but it's true that I did this kind of transition from other more traditional pipelines, including, traditional ray trace, waiting for the next day to see the render, to this new way of doing real-time filmmaking. So in the last year, I kind of, let's say, diverted from the main path of VFX, and I just set up my own company. And this is basically because during all this time, these 10 years in the film industry, always I've been doing my own pilots, my own proof of concepts. First, again, with traditional pipelines, just trying to absorb the VFX industry and apply that to my own ideas. And now this kind of new technology that allows filmmakers to just not to a part of previs. I think we are just in this very moment where we can actually do a proper pitch deck and considering doing a full production in real time. At least in my case, which is not in the Mandalorian scene, buying very expensive LEDs, is more in the idea of considering real time for feature animation. So with that said, I'm gonna try to share my screen and show you I'm gonna try. Someone needs to enable the sharing multiple users. Have a look. Yeah, I think it's like you need to put like multiple users needs to or something like that in the share screen.
Yeah, let me try. All right, try now.
Yep.
And also for everyone, Alvaro is going to be teaching a workshop tomorrow for the festival. So Alvaro, what's your workshop on tomorrow? What time is it?
It's gonna be about directing virtual worlds. This kind of chain of more traditional direction on set, how this can translate into a virtual production in the area of feature animation. I'm not gonna be directing, obviously, here in this room, actors, but I'm gonna try to show how can you translate the mindset of a real set into a virtual set with your characters in a virtual environment in your computer, in this scheme, in a smaller scale. We are not here with the Mandalorian budget, but we can do things.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate you doing this. I know, on Zoom type stuff, it's hard to do a workshop. So I'm glad that you're making the effort. So,
super happy to help. I don't know if you can listen to the sound. If not, maybe not, right?
I can't hear the sound right now.
It's okay. It's all right. You imagine fancy music, okay?
Okay.
So obviously here is my background from traditional VFX, and you're going to see a kind of blend between traditional pipeline and some mixed with some shots already using Unreal Engine. I showed you this first because obviously most of our IP come from a more traditional background, but now we are doing this transition of all these projects into the real-time lands. This, for example, is real-time. These are some of the characters we are working for the Sito Yuna. This is real-time already, real-time. So we are just doing this kind of transition. I'm very excited to see that most of the cases, just because we have this opportunity of seeing the things in real-time, we can do the things more creatively and better. And I always repeat that real-time is not about be faster, but better, because we are very visual creatures. If we have immediate feedback, we can make better choices. And that's what makes the projects more interesting. So a director that has these tools has way more possibilities of having, better outcomes. Because I only have 5 minutes, I'm gonna jump straight to the real-time, finally full real-time trailer. I can put the link later. This is without sound. Again, imagine amazing voice acting of our incredible crew, keyframe animated and all in real time. Obviously, the beauty of this is like literally we changed the lighting in the last day just because I woke up with a different mood and I decided to say, nah, I think we should put a cloudy environment there rather than maybe sunny. Just to give you an example. So again, I'm very excited to see this happening and seeing all these panels and talks, because I think something we are a little bit missing. I don't know if in terms of PR, or it's like this obsession about doing things faster. To me, the value is better. It's always better. It's seeing the things in real time is how we are. It's like we are like cats. We push a glass and we see the glass falling, and then we push another glass to see the glass falling, and then we process that information to make better choices. So this is basically my journey. I'm not going to show the full trailer because I think it's a lot of presentation. Just if you don't mind, because I always think this worth to check it. Basically, this is not just my work. This is the work of a bunch of people that reach out to me and they said, hey, I like your project. I want to join. Let's do it. So yeah, that's me.
It's awesome. And then you're calling from London today? Or
yeah,
where?
London. Yeah, it's actually 2 a.m. But to be honest, this is the beginning of my night. So It's all right. All good.
It's good timing, because also Hazel up next, she also introduces all of her collaborators, and she's British according to her accent, at least. So Hazel, for Brian and Alvaro, obviously Alvaro is teaching a workshop tomorrow, and Brian is here doing the Q&A, but the rest of the speakers tonight, they actually did pre-workshops. So I'm going to paste in the chat right now for everyone, and they're also on all the links that you got as ticket holders. These are the workshops for the rest of the speakers. So I'm going to play Hazel's workshop directly the first couple of minutes to show.
It's really great for creating sort of seascape.
And this is part of her playlist, but let's share the screen here. And Hazel, this is the opening of your workshop, and everyone can learn from her. All right, this is Hazel's work, and hey Rob, hey Rob, are you there? Rob, I'm gonna meet you. I heard some clicking, so you're thinking. All right. You guys hear the sound?
I have a background in a lot more traditional media, like oils, watercolor. My main medium is actually encaustic wax. So all very, very physical media. It looks a lot like coral, actually. And so it's really great for creating sort of seascapes and beautiful sort of abstract coral patterns with it. And then I found Tilt Brush because I got a headset. As soon as I got it, I immediately wanted to try Tilt Brush. I really wanted to try, this VR painting, because it's something I've been wanting to try. Just to see what I could create with it, just to see what it would do. I was burning up with curiosity to see, to try it. I sort of played around a little bit, and then, gosh, it was probably not long after, maybe a few days, a friend of ours sent me the application for BRC VR. And
so Hazel, why don't you explain this, and I'll pull up the next video. And you can introduce yourself as well. So it's and Hazel is an alumni of this track. In fact, she's the one that helped us start a lot of.
What was the first one? Was that 2 years ago?
Yeah, I'm going to play your first video that you did for us at the SciFi. I'm going to pull that up while you introduce yourself and explain your accent as well.
Well, as you can hear, I'm from the UK originally, but I've been in Florida for about 10 years now, so I'm pretty much local. By the way, I apologize for the weird angle of this of this camera. I didn't realize the camera was placed here on this computer. So.
Oh no worries. All right. so Hazel, be careful what you say around her, because it's you give her an idea and she'll run with it. So a lot of these things that people have said offhandedly, she actually built the applications and stuff. So In fact, this virtual worlds aspect is something that she suggested, and I'll show you her original idea 2 years ago when we started this track. Sure. So this is Hazel's first try go around her introduction to virtual worlds for sci-fi with AI.
So I'm thinking that you could even tailor the experience to that individual's personal memories. So when they walk through, it can even be a completely alien world, but there's something about it which is familiar to them. So they have this kind of real kind of reaction to it, like emotional reaction. Even if on the surface it physically looks, it could be alien, it could be something completely different, but you maybe implement certain sort of lighting or something that triggers that emotional response. I think you could create something really compelling for the individual.
You know, I never noticed that background music before.
What is it?
Yeah, it was like Mr. Roboto background music. I don't remember playing that. That was actually, if you guys know, when we actually do the film festival, we do it at those type of theaters type or the Hyatt downtown. But so yeah, so Hazel, welcome back. You know, we owe a lot to you, and you guys, you definitely should watch her workshop on YouTube. Like, she goes into a lot of interesting things, including how to use cryptocurrency for filmmaking and really great ideas. And we actually talked about it a couple of days ago at some of the other sessions as well from work. So you already made another impact, Hazel. So
Awesome.
cool. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you can do your introduction, I think.
Oh yeah, I'm just going to introduce myself. As you guys know, I'm from traditional media background. I'm a classically trained oil painter, and I recently gotten into augmented and virtual reality, and I'm very interested in augmented reality for artistic experiences, for visual art and film as well. I think there's a lot of opportunity that's been unexplored in that area. And for my own creative development, it's been an extremely interesting journey to dive into virtual and augmented reality. And now with the NFT space opening up to creators of all kinds, that's a new thing as well to explore.
Awesome. So welcome back, Hazel. So next we have Rob. So Rob also shot a pre-workshop for us. So Rob, let me highlight you and you can introduce yourself. I'll bring up your video. Rob is also an alumni. In fact, he's spoken at some of our Magic Leap events, and he went through the full gamut. You can talk to him about how he got to Unreal. He came from Unreal starting out with other engines just first. So Rob, can you hear us? Rob, can you hear us? Oh, let me unmute you. Yeah. No, you're not muted. Try to unmute yourself, Rob.
I think he's having problems hearing us.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah. Are you there?
I can't hear you guys though.
Okay, it's I think it's on. Or I'm just gonna play Rob's video then.
While you're doing that, I just dropped 2 of the QR codes for the augmented reality experience into the chat. So
yeah, why don't you can put them on the screen while Rob is trying to figure it out. Just hold up your phone to the screen.
yeah, I have it right here.
I mean, hold it up enough so when people see the replay, they can screenshot it. So
I'm just trying to see if there's any glare coming off it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's the advantages of that we can use now on Zoom. It's hard to do this in person with these QR codes sometimes. Here, we'll play Rob's. So Rob did an interesting thing here. He actually made a.
Still can't hear anything. Oh.
He made a Call of Duty type
Okay.
feature-length film, and so basically the concept is like that's actually his brother in the movie as well, but that someone spills a Mountain Dew on an Xbox and they get trapped into Call of Duty. Black Ops, basically. So it's a full feature-length movie.
Yeah, I don't have any sound though, and I'm using the browser instead of the Zoom app, and all the audio it's checked off correctly. So I think maybe I'll leave the meeting and then download Zoom because I just got a new iMac, so
All right, man.
it's not set up for Zoom.
Yeah, just try coming back.
But I could download the software real quick and then rejoin you guys in a few minutes if that. Unless somebody knows, like,
that's fine. You could also
what's going on here.
Okay, that's fine.
Like I was saying, like all the audio, like I can see it's receiving a signal. I'm just not hearing anything. My volume's turned up. Nothing's muted.
Okay.
Pretty stupid. So then the rest of the stuff is kind of just like the hose I bought at Home Depot. I actually bought a whole bunch of other things to add to the astronaut costume, but since he's going to be kind of far back, it didn't need to be as detailed as I originally imagined it to be. Shoes are just shoes that kind of, fit the look. I realized that the scene
and the shadow right there.
The shadow is actually it's another layer inside of it because.
So let me explain what's happening here. Since so basically he did a screen a capture directly from the Call of Duty game as he's playing it, and then when in the software he basically traced out. You see the knives basically. He turned the knives into actual into levers that actually can actuate too. So his actor, who's in the spaceman outfit that they made by hand, they made partially by hand, partially with rented equipment, basically. So it's basically his workshop. You guys can watch it. It's a mixture of practical effects with VFX, with Unreal Engine, with actual actualization. So actors can actually manipulate the virtual world, which I thought was pretty cool, especially as you use Unreal Engine for both filmmaking and for interactive apps as well. And when you do like a virtual backlot, you make the asset one time and you reuse it multiple times. So that's his workshop. And let's move on to Juan.
Hi, good evening, good morning, everybody all over the world.
Yeah, man.
How are you? So my name is Juan. I hail from Orlando, Florida, and in Orlando, Florida, we have our Orange County library system. It's a pretty good library system. We have a department there called the Dorothy Lumley Melrose Center, which is where I work. What we do at the Melrose Center is we give access to people to equipment so they can work on their own creative projects, and we give them access to all the equipment, and we also train our customers on how to use it. So we have a fully functional video studio, audio studio, photography studio with cameras, lighting equipment, microphones and everything. And we have a full team of people that teach us how to use all of this. And my role is I am the interactive design instructor. So I teach more of the virtual reality development and mixed reality and augmented reality with different software like Unity and Maya and Blender.
This is on the screen share. This is the one he taught for us. So it's a direct 1 hour workshop on how to set up a Match Leap environment and create your first app. You can just follow him, type along with him as well. It's a great workshop he shot. So thanks a lot, Juan.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
And when you guys are here in person in Miami for the next Miami Sci-Fi Film Festival, we partner with our local libraries as well. And they have Match Leap headsets, Oculus, they have HoloLens. So we teach these workshops hands-on with the equipment we get for free from our library, and obviously Juan has the same with his library. And all the workshops are free, and we have green screens. So everything we're talking about today, obviously on Zoom, but when we get back to in person, and maybe Brian gets here at some point too, Brian can also teach us some of these things as well on the equipment we have. Okay,
And
great. So
can
Juan,
I just add one more thing for me?
go ahead, man. Yeah,
a lot of our workshops are online right now since we can't go in person. So you could find us there too, and they're open to everybody.
Cool, man. So yeah, thanks for coming. So I think I think Robert's back. Let's make sure that. Hey, Rob, can you hear us?
So can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Oh, cool. All right. All right. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I made the mistake of joining the meeting through a browser instead of actually using Zoom. But how's everybody doing?
Good, man. So Robert, why don't you start out, since you're back now, talk about how you got into Unreal and virtual production, because you seem to have done it longest, other than obviously Brian here, and you went through the whole gamut, even from all the different softwares.
Well, it was really kind of a matter of wanting to, get a lot of film projects under my belt, and just get going with it, more actors and more, music videos, comedy stuff, quirky, whatever. And it's like if you don't have the budget and the team and the the connections to to set up like on location shoots and all that, naturally a lot of people are going to gravitate towards green screen stuff, and that led me to the Unreal platform, because if you have if you're working on a bunch of green screen projects, you'll find that you might start to run out of quote unquote scenery to use, whether it's static images or video that you shot yourself. And so I thought largely for consistency that I might turn towards ideas for films and short films and music videos that had like an entire environment in it that was all like kind of cohesive, because from experience, you can build virtual sets all day with photographs and stuff like that you get from various sources, but you'll quickly find that a lot of times, like all that imagery that you might use in your kind of like homemade virtual set don't always look like they are supposed to work together, and it kind of becomes a challenge to find background imagery, especially if you're doing like a long film that needs all different types of scenes, so I thought it would be kind of like turning to Unreal with the vast amount of assets that you have available to you for kind of below cost. I mean, and I know there's a lot of other places, a lot of other marketplaces, but everything kind of under one umbrella is very appealing, and if you think of the competitive nature of everything, that even though there's a massive amount of assets available to us now through all these different channels, competition is going to make much more assets and environments, architectural stuff available to us. And you're already seeing that in Unreal even now. Like even a year ago, if you look at a lot of the the stuff that was available compared to what's available now. I mean, we're already starting to see Unreal reach out and incorporate with other third parties that kind of specialize in a certain caliber.
Yeah, I think we can let Brian talk about that aspect. I think he's there.
Yeah, I'm sorry I missed.
No worries, man.
Speak for him. He's the I wanted you to talk more about how you got into it. And because I know you went through every software, but we'll come back to you in a little later. So Brian, since you were introduced, why don't you just, now we have limited time with you. Everyone else, I think we could reach out to anytime. So I think we should probably give you more time, really.
It's totally cool. I think we should just have a discussion on whatever topics you want to talk about. We can talk about virtual production in general. We can talk about, the Unreal Fellowship. We can talk about, what Epic is doing in the virtual production space, metahumans. There's all kinds of topics. So why don't you pick one?
We'll let people unmute themselves as they see fit. But in particular, we've had a lot of works. We started this festival several days ago. So, the consensus so far is obviously the fellowships. A lot of people apply for the fellowship. And then 2 is, the new studio in LA. And then 3 is metahumans. That seems to be a lot of interest in those 3 items.
Sure. Well, the fellowship is something that we started obviously during the whole COVID-19 furlough thing. And it was an effort by Epic to kind of, show a little bit to the community about that we care about what's happening to you. And, it also gave us an opportunity to, help promote the technology and train the technology from people who are interested in learning. So, the idea was, let's build a program that we can, help people by giving them a stipend and, allowing them to work undisturbed basically for, about 5 to 6 weeks, learning Unreal Engine specifically, and you get paid in the process. It kind of helps through the whole furlough process. And it turns out that we had a lot of interest. We put out a general call and we had approximately 6,000 applicants for the fellowship. And, we've been, slowly sorting through all of them, accepting people. And we're currently on our 4th cohort. It's going on right now, actually. We're in our 2nd week of class 4. And we have about 100 people per term, so that come through. And it's intense. It's, as they say, it's kind of like getting blasted with a fire hose of information, but, it's all right. And some of the works that people have produced in that time frame just astound me. We gave them a lot of different access to assets that we provide. We gave them some characters. This term, they're getting access to the metahumans to work with. And it's a number of different assets through our marketplace, that Robert mentioned. Definitely a great place to go. You can go into the marketplace and just pretty much find nearly anything you're looking for, and at a reasonable price too. It's why reinvent the wheel when some really talented artist has already, put something up on the marketplace. It's a great way to get, assets for your production. So in addition to that, it's, we have each student kind of go through a series of, classic processes. We start off in the beginning with a week of the whole storyboarding phase and, trying to have them come up with an idea for their films. And then we move into an asset ingestion modeling phase and do layout. And then we move into working in animation, mocap. I think yesterday we had our mocap session in which we were doing it through what we call multi-user editing. And we had our mocap supervisor in Los Angeles. We had one of our mocap operators over in Cary, North Carolina. And we had a mocap actor up in San Francisco. And then we had all of our fellows who were all around the planet, basically directing these mocap actors in session together. In Unreal Engine.
Do you have any videos to share? I know you said you might be bring some.
I do have some videos of some of the students' work that I'd be happy to show.
Yeah, I think, but one of our big mantras at this festival is show rather than prefer to show
rather than tell.
We are a film festival, right? First and foremost, so a lot of us are visual learners as well.
No problem. Let me see if I can get something here that I think would be a good one to start off with.
Great.
Let's see.
And then all the other speakers too, if you can, I know we all asked every speaker to have some clips ready. So if you can get those ready as well, when we come back to you.
All right, let me go ahead and share my screen. Oh, I see, let's see here. There's an option that normally allows to optimize for video streaming and for video clips. It's currently grayed out. Do you have that possibly? I'm more than happy to try and share it. It's just that it might be a little bit.
Yeah, that's fine. I think it's okay.
So this is one of our students' work that I thought was quite impressive. Go ahead, press play. So this particular piece, I thought turned out really nice. These are all assets that were either obtained off the marketplace or provided for him, Damon. Really an excellent example of good lighting detail, good use of cinematography, depth of field. It's a beautiful piece, and it is one of my favorites that came out of our previous, it's our V3 fellowship last term.
So can you explain some of those frames? Is this a performance capture piece, or how is this actually made?
Well, there's a combination. Am I still sharing?
Yeah, you're
I
still
just want to say that was bloody awesome. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm like I said, let's make sure that the filmmaker.
Yeah, and everyone can unmute themselves if you want to ask questions directly. It's
absolutely. Yeah, Damien did.
Yeah, that was job. Sorry. That's really, really beautiful. That was amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing scene. Yeah.
Damien was an excellent student. Did a wonderful job. So what we've got here is let me just turn down the volume. So we'll just let it play again in the background. So, what we're dealing here is these are all Unreal Engine assets. Some of it may have also been modeled by Damien, but the character that was supplied here is Echo, which is the character that's going to be released with Unreal Engine 5. But she is, he used animation for this. So he just keyframed this primarily, and he also did facial capture through our LiveLink Face app. And also the character also had a facial rig that could be animated. And in this case, animated, you could use it within Maya to animate the face and then export that out as FBX files, which could be imported and brought into Unreal as well. But
actually, before I forget, Tim Stutz, who was going to talk about facial capture tonight. I mean, originally this session was supposed to be 2 weeks ago, but we had to delay the festival for 2 weeks. So he's not available today. He was available 2 weeks ago, but he shot his workshop as well. So the same link I showed you. He's the Magic Leap guy. He was talking about facial capture, so you can watch his workshop at the same playlist. So sorry, Brian, go ahead.
It's okay. Yes, the LiveLink Face app that is now available allows you to basically drive character facial performance And it will work directly with the metahumans that are coming out soon. I mean, you can right now go on to the Unreal Engine launcher or marketplace and go to the Learn tab, and you can find the metahuman samples that you can test out and play. And you can connect up directly your iOS device, whether it's, as long as it has a true depth sensor camera, you'll be able to control and stream that data directly onto the metahumans. And that is that's something that's pretty great. Let me get this out of the way here. I think we also have a couple more that I'd like to show, if that's okay.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yes. And then you guys, so I think rather than waiting until the end of the video, if you want to like ask him during the video too.
Yeah, probably if you don't mind, Brian. I was wondering about the Echo model. Was that spacesuit part of the model, or was that sort of an additional?
No, it wasn't. We provided Echo in her original form, which was kind of like, you'll see it in this next film, Pulsar by Jeff Liu. Damien went and replaced the body geometry and put her in a spacesuit. And again, if I recall correctly, it was a suit that he had obtained off of the marketplace as well. There's an astronaut character there that I'm sure he probably modified and tweaked. But so this particular piece that I want to show is also another really fine example of filmmaking. And some people may already know Jeff Liu. He's the guy who created Killer Bean. I don't know if you remember Killer Bean. It's an animated short film that was put out several years ago. Jeff was brought into the fellowship to learn Unreal Engine, and he did this piece, and it's truly spectacular. He got his voice actor through Fiverr, I believe, hired a person off of Fiverr to do the voice acting. And he did all of the animation as keyframe animation, because he's a traditional keyframe artist, and put it all together with an incredible soundtrack. So I'm just going to play this really quick so you can see it.
When he says fellowship, it is a real fellowship. They actually will pay you, so you can actually take time off work, take unpaid vacation from your job, and then you can get paid by Epic during the fellowship timeframe. So it's not just like learning remotely type thing.
Can you hear it now? Is the audio coming across?
Yep.
Okay, good.
This is it. I found one. So beautiful. So powerful. Now, we have a chance. No, 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 no. It's too late.
And I'll just let that play again in the background and we can talk about it. But, amazingly, again, this one blew me away when I first saw this. It was an incredible piece of work, all keyframed, voice acted, brought together and constructed in Unreal, edited and animated through Sequencer in Unreal, and rendered all through the program, obviously. And he edited and put it together. I think he offline edited it with Premiere, but I was just stunned by this, that he accomplished this much. And this was actually in our shortest fellowship. It was only in 4 weeks' time that he did this. And he had no experience in the application, and started learning Unreal through the fellowship program. And he produced this, and I was just like, oh my God, amazing.
I think a lot of the people who are filmmakers at our festival, they're traditional filmmakers first. They'll know Premiere, and they want to learn game engines to do virtual production, to still have actors, still do traditional, with live actors, do that type of thing too. So maybe we can direct the conversation towards that, to what the filmmakers need, because I don't think the only one, Tyler, I know he did the claymation. Tyler, you can unmute yourself. If you want, we can play some of your film as well. But generally, yeah, it'd be interesting to see how we can use Unreal Engine, Brian, with traditional actors, whether it's performance capture or, combining the live action. I think that would be
reality.
cool. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Tyler? It's our first time meeting, but thanks for submitting your pretty cool piece.
Absolutely. Happy
Do you
to
mind
be
if
here.
we play a clip?
Sure, go for it. Or do you want me to do it?
All right, I'll play it. I got it lined up here. So Tyler submitted, we are a film festival, first and foremost, so we give out awards. So if you guys remember, a couple years ago, the winner of the augmented reality short film was a filmmaker out of Australia, and he made a Unity short film with like killer robots attacking his city in Australia. And then we did a meetup afterwards to show how the behind the scene code, how he created the particle effects and married it with his actors and stuff. But so this is so Tyler, go ahead and you can talk while I play it too.
Sure. So we just kind of so my dad and I have this mini little virtual reality studio, and we wanted to come up with it's interesting, it doesn't actually play in actual VR, but we were just trying to come up with the best thing we could do with the resources we had. And so we decided to, with the little dinky Theta, we could get good quality pictures, and clay's cheap, so we started putting together this claymation. We did photos for a week straight, and then the vast majority of the time was cutting it all together afterward. But yeah, it's 510. I don't know what else to say about it.
I guess maybe on social
fun, goofy
media.
claymation and VR.
I think what's interesting is some of the things that are similar to what you did with Rob does here. I noticed, like, Rob, I'm sure you appreciate this, how he does the cutouts between his backdrops and your backdrops, even your background right now in your room. So I think there's probably room for collaboration for you guys too.
Yeah.
But,
sure.
Yeah, it's always an issue when people submit to the festival on Film Freeway, right? I had to basically take your word for it. That's VR, but on Film Freeway, obviously, we see what we see. So,
I can also send the file for sure, because it is
that's
way better to actually get to watch it in VR.
Cool.
So,
yeah, I wanted to give you time because you actually submitted to the festival. So yeah, thank you for submitting. So cool, man. So Alvaro, maybe you could ask Brian the questions, really, because you have the hands-on experience and you're teaching the workshop tomorrow. Like, how do we actually use from a, like Melissa, she did her session yesterday and she's here today to learn as a first timer how she can use Unreal Engine and virtual production in her films, basically coming from a traditional sci-fi filmmaking background. I think you're probably the person that has the experience in both worlds.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's been great to see this amount of filmmakers, even non-filmmakers, becoming filmmakers, because now it's easier somehow. And to me, it's quite exciting because again, it's about free market rules. The more people we are gonna see from this amount of artists, beautiful pieces time to time, and that's great. So yeah, just a little mention because when we talk about traditional workflows or pipelines versus more cutting edge technology, I was thinking like actually what is more traditional is what we are doing now, somehow, because at the end of the day, we are just finally the anomaly was to work waiting with this kind of bottleneck with technology where we do something and we don't see that in real time. Now we are closer to our relationship with nature, with our eyes, having immediate feedback. We can make better choices, as I said a little bit in my introduction. So that's why I see in 4 weeks, you can see this amount of talent is because these people is not yet, let's say, intoxicated by somehow bad practices that we got in traditional VFX where we don't see the final result. So we do a lot of guesses and assumptions, we roll the dice, and if we are lucky in the morning, we have a beautiful render. If we are not lucky, we don't have it, but we don't make choices. We just do guesses all the time. And I think that's the reason why we have talent out of the blue, because that talent was always there. And yeah, and I think more interested, Brian, is I'm in this kind of moment where we have 3 pilots happening right now. We got the Cito Yuna becoming a full-length feature film. We got a video game, and we got another pilot that is going to be summer. We did in traditional pipelines, and now maybe in summer we release a Unreal Engine trailer. I'm more interested into this philosophy of Epic of merging the line between what is a video game and what is a film, and how this is becoming something quite more relevant, for example, with Fortnite, where we are talking about the meta universe, right? If I'm not wrong. I'm very curious about if there is a kind of end game on all this, because I'm quite interested in see how this new way of telling stories is shaping our relationship with technology.
Well, obviously, Epic Games is first and foremost a game company, and we produce Fortnite, which is a video game that has been very popular, and a lot of people have played it and such. But it's more than just a video game. It's kind of a proving ground for what Tim Sweeney is calling, the metaverse, which is basically, a future platform driven by Unreal Engine that will allow for a greater sense of experience. Now, already in Fortnite, you can go in and start experiencing collaborative things together with other people, and you can watch movies with people, you can play games with people, and so forth. I wouldn't, I would just, project forward that is going to be just the basics of what's going to be coming when this metaverse of Tim's brainchild comes into fruition. It's going to be, quite amazing. You'll be able to go in there and, find entertainment, commerce, all kinds of different things. And there's a lot of promise there.
If I can interject real quick, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Some of you guys probably know this, but the second biggest media event, only second to Elvis Presley's first worldwide televised performance on television, was when DJ Marshmello was live streamed into a Fortnite game, and he just DJ'd and mixed music. And I don't know how, I think it was like for 10 or 15 minutes, something like that. And everybody's characters went into like these, dances, right? So all these kids, we're talking, what was it, hundreds of millions of people, or, something like 50 or 60, 70 million people.
Yeah, I think Kazel can speak to that. She actually did that this summer for Virtual Burning Man as well.
Yeah, that was the second largest media event in the history of the world, and it was through Fortnite. So there's a lot to say for that subject.
and you can release a movie even there, or you can release a interactive experience. I mean, festivals, right? It's like kind of the first ground that it was a success with a bunch of gigs. And I see like, hey, we are gonna do, imagine you have some famous Netflix TV series and they want to do the PR on this kind of platforms where you can just put, maybe not the full series, let's say the first episode, like the experiment they did in Netflix with the interactive, I don't remember the episode of Black Mirror, there was an interactive episode there. Obviously it was in a smaller scale, but I see this platform again, I know it's a long shot, but that's why I'm asking for the long shots, because it's exciting to see what is the direction, what all these things are going now.
Yeah, what I think is really going to be a big contender is the mixed reality technologies, you know, similar to what was used for the filming of The Mandalorian, like, you know, ongoing. And that technology, as a lot of you Unreal guys know, oh yeah, yeah, that's cool.
Just thought I'd put it up so that if folks haven't seen it, it's quite an event.
Do you recall how many millions of people were on during that event?
I should know. Right off the top of my head, I can't recall, but it was a lot.
Massive.
So Hazel, like looking at this, because Hazel actually built something like this for Virtual Burning Man this summer. In fact, her workshop is largely about this on YouTube that she shot for us. But I noticed that like Hazel, like a lot of it was filmmaking too. Is like when you're trying to show it, you still have to have the virtual cameras and the fly through to tell a story after the fact, after she built the experience. So Hazel, maybe you could explain what you're seeing here. I guess I don't know if you've seen this before, but
I haven't seen this exact one before. I've heard about the event, but I haven't actually seen it. So I guess events are being held virtually now, and from my experience of being in one of these virtual worlds, whether it's something I've created or I'm in somebody else's world or I'm in something like this, and the virtual Burning Man was very much like this. They even had the burning of the actual, that effigy of the man that they burn. They even had that in virtual reality as well.
Yep.
And
this background right here, my shirt and that in front of Spock, that's also from Paul Bronstein's on the call. It's from one of the worlds he made. And Hazel also obviously made a world as well, but different virtual Burning Mans this summer.
So yeah, anyone who applied could upload their own camp, or they could upload an entire immersive experience. So they had portals in Altspace going to each person's world or each person's camp. And it could be whatever you wanted it to be. Like mine were sort of fully immersive worlds, and some people had camp set up with a bar. Some people had MREs, which are things that you can take and actually you have your avatar wear them, where you can pick them up. So a lot of it was very interactive as well, which was nice.
Cool.
And another thing I noticed actually, now that a lot of things are being held in virtual reality, the experience of being in virtual reality, interacting with other people who are also in avatars, you actually have this this empathic sort of emotional response to people, like as if you were talking to someone face to face. And it's even more than talking to a real person through a screen. So say you're FaceTiming somebody, or you're on a Zoom call, that response is even more than if you were on that call. So even though you're kind of interacting with what looks like a cartoon character, you're still responding as if an actual person was standing in front of you. So I think there's massive utility for these virtual worlds for people who are still in lockdown. And like here in the US, we have it really good. We don't have any restrictions or anything like that. But in Europe, some lockdowns are still extremely strict. And I think being able to interact in a virtual world, in virtual reality, could actually sort of alleviate some of the stress and the loneliness that some people feel.
So let me introduce Paul on the spotlight right now. He's one of the festival volunteers and he helped produce some of the workshops. So you guys are going to watch before or after this sessions. And Paul.
Hi, great to meet you guys. An honor to be here with so many great like-minded minds, and I can't say enough about the demos here. And yeah, I worked on Burning Man, one of the Burning Man universes with virtual reality using a WebXR platform, which is a online virtual reality platform with environments. And it was a really great experience, almost a foretelling experience of the challenges and great things about virtual remote productions. And I can't say enough how amazing it was of an experience sharing those universes with Hazels and others. And just a pleasure to be here with all you.
Awesome.
Nice meeting you, Paul.
Nice to meet you, Brian. Thank you.
Yeah, and Paul is also going to be producing a lot of things in South Florida with some new studios as well. So congratulations, Paul, on your new studios.
Thank you. I can't wait to work and create great content with you, Prav, and to bring the culture of South Florida out. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, guys. So anyone else who would like to come on the stage? But otherwise, we'll just get back to the. Yeah.
I mean, I have a little mention.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Man. Yeah.
No, just to say, like, for example, one of the prototypes, because my background is more like filmmaking, but always, all my life, I've been doing little video games by my own, starting from back in the days Unreal 1 or doing maps for Quake and, a lot of bunch of things. And now I can find somehow that how all this is merging into one place. Not just, again, to blurring the line between what is a film and what is an interactive experience and what is a video game. Also is the versatility. Let's say you are doing a pitch deck to whatever producer where you have, let's say, a video game, and they are interested. Oh, this would be a great movie. Well, we got the 50% of the bill of all the assets ready.
Like a pitch viz type situation?
Well, even not just even pitch viz, you can just even a final prototype with a good quality, let's say cinematic plus some kind of gaming prototype experience there. And then maybe there is an attraction to say, hey, we are interested on this, but we have allocated budget for this series in this production company. Can we do this into a TV series or movie? Well, yeah. Back in the days, that was a little bit of a headache because obviously it's like you have problems with IP, you have problems with how to transfer all the assets to different pipelines. Right now, we got two projects which are like films, but we got one of them that intentionally we are not promoting if it's a movie or a game. Because actually it's a movie, actually it's a game, but actually it's also a potential movie. And we are dealing that project in that fashion because you can adapt depending on the market needs of the market, what they want. We can pivot without bastardizing the project because the project is the universe, it's not the format. And that's something on the budget you need to think before you do the budget. You need to think about what is the format. Now you can go to the 50% of your project in a kind of, there is no a format, it's a universe, and you sell the universe to make whatever format you want because it's already there. So you create the IP, not by the product, but by the idea. And that's a lot of value, I think, in real time, because the translation between different formats is so beautiful that I don't feel attached to say, this is going to be a movie or this is going to be a game. We work in parallel and we have the options for later. We'll see.
Yeah, man. So I think what would be helpful is, we have the traditional filmmakers here who would really just want to get started. They haven't tried Unreal before. Sure. So I know, Melissa, maybe you can ask, or you can direct this, about how to get started. I know you're interested yesterday. And I think we might have gotten too far into the deep end too quickly per se. Maybe we should back up a little bit to actually make it. So why don't you introduce yourself as our filmmaker for the festival?
Okay, hi.
Hi, Melissa.
Hi. Spotlight. Well, I'm quite new. I'm a filmmaker. I have a movie that's real with real actors and everything, but about how the AI directs, take control of our lives, and we are unable to touch anymore. But I'm developing it for further, like a pilot and to take it further, for a series. And it's interesting to see how I could use any of whatever you described into that world, because it's about that, like, you know, like the inability to touch what people could do, to what point they could go, you know, like going through unreal worlds to be able to connect in other ways. So that's very interesting, though I don't have any knowledge. I have in my past work, I have done a music video that was animated, but I was not the animator. So I was the director and I wrote the story, but that was cartoon animation. I don't know, like all that technical different words for all the beautiful work I've seen tonight.
Well, if you want, I mean, we can certainly discuss virtual production technology more in earnest. I mean, I can show you some clips of some stuff that is being done on the high end and medium end, and how it can be related down to more of an indie level. You know, in particular, some of the
I think that would be helpful. And then
Sure.
we can actually follow up, because we are a user group. We can run with what you show us and do other separate workshops on that.
So I think some of you have, well, here we go. Let's see here. This isn't, there's Matt Workman. Here we go.
Yeah, there it is.
Let me get to the front of this. This is what I wanted to show. So some people I'm sure have probably seen this. This was a virtual production sample that was put out during SIGGRAPH of 2018, where we were showing off virtual production technology, you know, on a small stage. And this is something that, you know, obviously this is, to many would probably look like, wow, this is a huge Hollywood production, but realistically, it was a small venture here. This was basically a series of LED LED panels put together in a small volume, actually. And you know, there's a LED panel on the back wall, 2 on the sides, and you know, 1 on the ceiling. And then there was a practical set up in front, you know, where the person on the motorcycle would actually sit. And you know, we had lights, and we had, you know, imagery coming onto the background that was being driven by Unreal Engine, and it allowed individuals to go in and actually, you know, do VR scouting inside of the engine, so that you could go and modify and alter the terrain, so that, you know, if you wanted to move the rocks around, or if you wanted to get a little bit better of a set, you could go and make those changes. This is kind of showing that example right now, where you can basically go in and place your virtual cameras inside, and you can be looking on set and on stage with, you know, inside in VR. Now, this obviously is a big, huge production, and it is, it would cost a lot of money to set something like this up. It's not something that it can easily come by the average user to have this type of thing. But there are ways that you can actually do this on a considerably smaller scale and a smaller budget. And, you know, I would say that, you know, I saw in the audience here that Jet is here. He's a good friend. He's actually working with me in the fellowship, and he has also some experience of working in this area as well. But if you're looking at, you know, if you have, say, an XN suit, which is a high-end inertial motion capture suit, or a mid-range like the Rococo suits, or the intro suits like the Perception Neuron, all of these are all capable of feeding in motion capture data into a production. And
actually, Perception Neuron's based in Miami as well.
That's true. That's true.
Yes.
And you can see here that this is actually, you know, using a very expensive camera tracking setup here. There are more low budget ways to do camera tracking inside of a smaller volume. You could actually do it, you know, using a Vive setup, and you're using like a Vive puck or Vive controllers, inside of a minimum of like 2 Vive base stations, and you can track the position of a camera inside of a 3D space. And you could, along with perhaps some large screen TVs, you could actually pull off a low budget version of this. And it's pretty amazing what's coming available to the average user between mocap suits, camera tracking devices. All of that is coming down in price. It's all being democratized for use for, on any level, really.
So let's bring Taj and Juan in, like maybe Juan first. You saw what Brian just showed us, right? And you're the one that actually seems like several times a week you're teaching these courses of how to use these tools for VR and things. So how would you recommend like filmmakers get into this as far as from the technical point of view now, I guess, but within reason, obviously?
Well, I mean, I can only speak for the development side, I don't know a lot about like actual production and everything like that, but I like what Brian was talking about, where you can use the VR controllers to place them on the camera so that you can track a virtual camera in a virtual space and see where everything is. And actually, that reminded me, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Surf's Up. You ever seen that movie, Surf's Up? Yeah. That was probably one of the first places where they actually did that. The traditional, it was a whole virtual, it's all like 3D characters or whatever, but it was one of the first places where they actually used a real camera to film that that type of 3D movie, and it was really amazing, groundbreaking technology at the moment. But right now, it's available at our fingertips to just be able to use this technology to do that sort of thing, and it's amazing to me. So I guess just to piggyback on what Brian was saying, to do like a homemade studio, you could do something like that where you can use the virtual controllers to track your camera in different parts of the set and stuff.
Is that a studio in Miami that you were just showing there? I don't know why I didn't put my video up on the screen. I'm sorry. But...
I was gonna mention too that you can simply use your iOS device to act as a virtual camera as well. So we have systems to allow you to set up a wireless, an ad hoc wireless network. You log in and it will pixel stream content from Unreal onto your phone, so that as you're moving your phone and looking, you can actually drive a virtual camera in Engine, and that works pretty well too.
Yeah, Brian, and also, if I may, real quick, the biggest thing that kind of the biggest deterrent is the idea that you need those LED screens the way they did it in that virtual set, but you don't. You can utilize the technology with the green screen.
True.
Now that there's a huge benefit towards getting to that level where you're filming actors, or whether or not you're going to do mocap or whatever in front of the real LED screens, and that's that the lighting, the color of the light from the environment that's going to be in your shoot bleeds onto your actors. So that alleviates a massive task for lighting directors who would have to light green screen and the actors separately, either in post. It's usually a combination of post and live, to make it look like the actors actually are there if you're using a green screen. But the technology works very well for just green screen studios. So that's a huge thing. That's everything that I want to do, everything that is in my future, because there's a lot of holes to fill to put the whole system together if you're not on that bigger budget scale. But it can be done a lot cheaper than what would be the cost in the example that Brian showed.
Well, interestingly enough, we're seeing examples of individuals using high resolution OLED TV screens as replacements for the LED walls. and doing things on small scale shots, particularly for animated content and for working in like small scale miniature. They place it up against the OLED TV screen and use that as their wall, and it's really interesting and very creative of a solution.
I would like also to add in regards of one of the advantages of LED obviously is lighting. The other one is actually to put actors in context. I'm gonna share a video just to prove a little bit the point. Here, I don't know if you can see the video.
Yep, we see it.
Okay, so this was the shooting session at ILM for the City of Yuna. This was this great area where we doing the transition from traditional Pimeless to Unreal Engine. But to me, the point is, I was doing a bizarre alien universe, very bizarre. Okay, the actors were struggling to know what the hell was going there. So the only thing I could do, I don't know if you see this little screen here, it was just showing the previs. It wasn't enough. I just needed to put music, scare them. This is actually me chasing them, jumping. So it was like, it took a lot of time to put the actors into the mood. Not because bad or actors or something like that, they were really great. It's because no matter what, we are very emotional creatures. So we need an environment. And in the moment, imagine this was shoot with LEDs and we are doing the perform with maybe Xsense or another system. We are gonna have both of them. And again, I'm talking about maybe feature running or a hybrid where you can just have LEDs and another secondary creature. But to me, the volume, not motion capture wise, just having the LEDs are gonna put the actors on context. And to me, I felt that difference a lot because you need that. It's not the same thing to look a puppet or a green, or a stick, that seeing a creature or seeing an environment in the context.
Yeah, the sample that I was showing earlier, I mean, obviously you're right. It's in-camera visual effects. Basically, it's a throwback to old school rear projection that was what classic movies were made out of. But now we've been able to introduce camera tracking so that you can get full parallax of the camera as it moves in space. So that whole addition of that is kind of a game changer because it actually gives you that sense of being real. And then the LED wall can also help provide reflections, in glasses and on surface areas, which you just would not be able to do with a green screen solution. But, green screen is still, a tried and true technology. And yes, like Robert was mentioning, works great also working in Unreal Engine. Both approaches are valid.
Sure. Nikhil had a question he put in the chat, but it's probably better to ask it on camera.
Hey,
watch this video.
Yeah, thank you so much. Hey, Brian. My name is Nikhil. I'm a writer, filmmaker. I used to work at Softimage, actually. I work for David Moran, and I see he's working. Yeah. Please do. And so, I'm sort of familiar with sort of a lot of the VFX pipelines because that's what we did when we were in LA, sort of setting up the workflows for the studios there. Sure. I think what I'm really curious to know, since we have you, is whether Unreal 5 is going to have a lot more feature sets that are going to be friendly for enabling virtual production stuff. I'm sure you've learned a lot from, how people have been using it. And the MetaHuman stuff is fantastic. I've played with it, already, and it's just mind-blowing. But is Unreal Engine 5 going to be pretty much a huge, learning curve for us or is it going to have a easier feature set, to sort of enable independent filmmaking?
Well,
or you can't talk about it.
I mean, obviously there's certain things I can and can't say because it hasn't been announced yet. But if you look at Unreal Engine 5 and what has been announced for Unreal Engine 5, there are new technologies that are going to be very helpful for helping improve the image quality. Obviously, the nanite technology is going to help with increasing the resolution of your models so that you'll have even higher resolution of geometry. Lumen is a whole GI solution that runs off of the GPU, which will make it much faster to render out high quality rendering solutions off of the GPU, fully global illumination. But there's going to be a new interface to the engine, and there's going to be, yes, a series of new features that I can't yet discuss. But in 4.26, we kind of saw an inkling of what those new features are. There was a whole new set of advancements with animation and capabilities, all kinds of retargeting and improvements with control rig, and all of that will allow you to better animate within the engine. And the next versions of the engine will have even further advancements in virtual production tech.
Cool.
Awesome. Just one more quick follow-up. So in terms of the motion capture suits, I was looking at the Rococo. Would you think that getting a suit at this point is a wise move, or wait until Unreal 5 comes out?
There shouldn't be any reason to wait for a mocap suit. If you're interested in one, you should look into it. Data is data, and it's going to be utilized whether it's in Unreal Engine 4.26 or in Unreal Engine 5. You're still going to have to capture and do motion capture, to help animate your characters. So if you're not a keyframer, if you don't want to, keyframe your animation.
Thank you so much, Brian.
Sure, no problem.
Hey, Brian, do you mind a quick question? Because you just made my day saying that potentially there's going to be a new UI or interface that made me really happy to hear that. I know that you are you can say what you can say, but I'm very curious if you or anyone is considering the thing that different backgrounds fall into Unreal Engine. So different needs are there depending on, for example, other kind of softwares consider, okay, do you want to animate? Do you want to rig? Do you want to do this for filmmaking? And the UI completely changes depending on that. I don't know, it's one of the things Epic is considering, that some people is going to use that literally only for virtual production, while other people is going to do that only literally for video games, while the pipelines are a little bit, let's say, not opposite, but quite different in terms of blueprints, what is in the high level, what is in a lower level. I'm very interested in knowing if that's something that could be an option, that you open the engine and are you going to do a movie? Are you going to do a game?
The engine, as it currently stands, and in future versions of the engine, will allow for a certain amount of customization of the interface, of being able to move things around and reorient your workspace. So there can be certainly ways that you can set up for different ways that you want to work. So that'll be helpful. But I don't know if that answers your question completely.
I guess, yeah. It's more like what is in the higher level in the UI UX experience, and what is in a lower level, that most of the cases when you drop someone in Unreal Engine, they struggle a bit in the very beginning. I know you are doing amazing work with the fellowship to go to this transition, but people that come from more traditional pipelines, they need to relearn the video game mindset. LODs, animation compression, things that we don't know as traditional filmmakers, let's say in VFX.
Sure.
And it's quite related with UI UX. I was thinking, is considering Epic doing like kind of two split, or is the philosophy is to merge things?
No, it's a principal philosophy of Epic that there is only one Unreal Engine. There is not going to ever be two Unreal Engines, one for film and one for games. It'll only always be just one engine. And so, the interface, however it evolves, will, must obviously still be able to be used by those in the gaming development profession, and those who are working and using Unreal in more of an enterprise capacity and using it for non-gaming applications. So, any future UI for the program will need to be flexible that way. And it's
yeah, I think we could really ask Juan, or Juan can give input on that, because he's a full-time instructor teaching this stuff to the public. And let's bring Jed in too. Jed, so I think like you really are the bridge between the two worlds here. It seems like you can introduce yourself, and then I'll pull up the video of the perception neuron suit while you talk.
Yes, Jet, say hello.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I'm Chad. I'm from LA. I'm one of Brian's cohorts there that I help teach. I have to say that first off, the perception neuron suit is a suit of choice for me.
Yeah, so I'm playing this. So we did for our Unreal Engine user group called Unreal Florida, we dressed up ballerinas in South Florida and made them into giant snails at the Adrian Arch Center, and we used Unreal Engine. So this is a VR video of us showing even the code, the blueprint code, which means no typing C++. It's just connecting nodes together. Who people who don't want to learn programming, but this I posted this in the chat as well. But go ahead. I'm gonna turn the volume down so you can talk, chat. Sorry.
This is fantastic. First off, I think it's beautiful, and the fact that the perception neuron suit, for me, is the most cluck for the buck that I've seen. The built-in fingers work really well. I mean, is that Daniel?
Yeah, these are all these guys are in Wynwood, so we can go visit them for a meetup too. So you see my screen is glitching. This is a 4K VR video. I'm
wonderful
right now.
Daniel's
wearing
really
it. You
great.
see he's wearing it right now.
Yeah.
Jet, why don't you explain what he's doing?
Daniel's got on the pro suit here, and the difference between the pro suit and
he's pretending to be a ballerina. We didn't, so later on in the actual performance, ballerinas are wearing this underneath other outfits. So.
It's a fantastic suit. Again, with the fingers built in. I was just at the Neudem. I was at the Neudem LA office about 3-4 months ago, speaking with Ari at the time, who was running the studio at the Fonco Studios, and he showed me how to really dial in that suit. And for the price point, it's amazing. And the things that I've seen done with the perception neuron and Unreal is unreal. I mean, it's pretty amazing the things that they can do with it. And I mean, it's entry level. It's an entry level suit for people like me who I've got to set up just like Roberts, man. I mean, it's just like I've done green screen with the Vive technology, and I've followed all of Matt Workman's stuff before I was able to be fortunate enough to get into the fellowship. And I got to tell you, as a traditional legacy type artist who came from a DCC, I was a motion graphics artist. I was in doing real time stuff already with Octane and Cinema 4D. When I got into Unreal to be able to tell stories, and I mean the things I've seen people do in such a short period of time, I've never seen anybody take to a DCC in that way. I've seen some people who took to Maya and have made some incredible stuff, but not like the stuff I've seen in Unreal. It's pretty epic.
You can see in the background. See, that's the snails right there, right?
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So basically, and he did it pretty cool, just like Maya VFX engineers, right? They did I think a cosine effect. So it's not like, so the wings of the snail, they're moving in tandem, but not exact tandem. So it looks more organic. Because if it was just like, exactly like, an arbitrary thing, like 1X, right? Then it wouldn't be an organic, like flapping type situation. So you wanted a flying snail. And yeah, this was actually a performance we did at the Miami Ballet Center, obviously with not him, but so yeah. So the video, guys, it's in the chat, and for everyone watching at home later, we'll put it in the description of the video as well, so you guys can have access to this. And then yeah, and when you guys are in Miami, we'll go visit the Neudem Studios. They actually have this like really cool like old mannequin we do projection mapping on, so we can figure out like how to use that with Brian's help.
We got one of the first perception neuron suits over at the Melrose Center, and we actually teach people how to set it up, how to put it on properly. Give them some tips on how to start recording and how to get the data from Axis Neuron software, and how to retarget it to a model using Maya. So that's one of the courses that we offer online as well.
Cool, awesome. And I noticed there was some of Paul's friends in the video, his buddies in there, so referring Paul on. And I think, Paul, you use this suit as well, I think.
No, I have not had the chance to use the Neuron suit, but we use the Tesla suit, which is another motion capture kind of technology. But it looks fascinating, and it's great to see so many motion capture solutions in the market.
It's awesome. What are you going to use the Tesla suit for?
For now, we're calibrating it to be able to test out the haptic feedback technology, meaning you're able to feel anything in your body, any type of in-game or in-movie type of stimuli. And eventually want to use the motion capture capabilities. But it is a very complex device to work with, but we're looking forward to using the haptic feedback and seeing how we can work with that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Veronica was talking about that yesterday, I think, about the, basically sound pressure, or was it the movie Manny, right? Manny, there's an AI that rewrites people's memories using subliminal sound messages while they're sleeping without their knowledge.
Oh, wow.
Veronica is a sound healer as well.
Well,
hey, Veronica, you're muted.
I'm sorry. Hi, guys. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Veronica.
Hi. Sound healing. Well, I'm not an expert in sound healing.
Oh,
but
Veronica's the one
it
running
works
this
with the
festival, by the way,
frequencies.
so we can all thank her for keeping us all up and running. Thanks, Fee.
Operations, yeah. I'm not a filmmaker. I'm far from it. I'm in a different industry, but sorry?
This festival wouldn't exist without you. So thanks for putting.
No, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it all. Like so much QA, high standard QA and high standard QA and high standard people around. It's fascinating. And I think integration and working together all together make these things happen, and sharing all together the powerful knowledge that is changing the world, especially in the virtual production world. I think it's a plus, and I appreciate all of you guys being here. And yeah, I'm on operations in the team, and I just always curious about different industries. And as I mentioned to Prav yesterday, I consider myself a multi-potentialite, so it's always good to know more about especially sci-fi and production, virtual production technology, and integrated with the human behavior as well, which I think is a fascinating blend. So yeah. And in regards to sound healing, is just I know the frequencies that you can use to, heal yourself. And I think that mix with technology and human behavior and psychology is, I don't know, it's gonna get us really far.
Yeah, I think Hazel's into that as well with her magical realism. She talks about that in her workshop. That's part of the film festival. And so, Brian, can we use haptic feedback now as part of this?
I can't give you an answer to that one. I really don't have that much information on that as far as solutions for that. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. Cool. So I think we're closing, we're getting towards the end of the session, but we will give the other panelists who have some really interesting topics and that they talked about in their workshop. So Hazel, I know one of the things that a lot of people really were excited about earlier in the earlier sessions is your concept of using NFTs and cryptocurrency for filmmakers. Oh, you're muted, Hazel.
Sorry. Yeah, the more I've been diving into the NFT space, the more utility I see for it for creators of all kinds, whether it's filmmakers or whether it's visual artists. Obviously, until now, it's been mostly digital artists that have been able to authenticate their work and even get royalties on their work. And that can translate into the film industry. Like everybody on that production team could potentially get royalties through NFTs. So you can write it into the smart contract, who gets what, and you can write the amount of royalties everyone gets in that contract as well. So the potential is huge for any type of creative endeavor. And for me in particular, I had no idea how to monetize VR and AR experiences.
because until now I had just been uploading them onto Altspace, and obviously making these spaces for Burning Man was an amazing experience and like a steep learning curve as well. I think it was maybe a few days after I got the headset that I got the application form through. So yeah, I sort of jumped in on the deep end with that.
Yeah, it's
now,
been pretty cool. She always comes up with interesting ideas and then she actually implements them. So really glad that she's a festival volunteer.
Thank you. Well, yeah, thank you for having me again.
Yeah, so basically what happens with these festivals is, like, anytime you guys come with an idea, throughout the year, we actually do events, sometimes even monthly. So, whatever ideas you have, crypto or our virtual production, you don't have to wait till a whole year to show your work. We can, like we did the game jam with Unreal Engine and Unity and things like that, and Magic Leap. So, if there's an interest, just message Veronica or me or any of the festival volunteers, and we'll do an intermediate event to showcase. So maybe we'll just do a game jam just for NFTs for filmmakers. So yeah, so you guys don't be a stranger. And then we definitely, one of the things we told Brian is, whatever he inspires us to do this year, we're going to show him the short films next year that he inspired us to this year, whether it's Perception Neuron. Obviously, since they're here in Miami, we'll get some of their suits to borrow, at least for the filmmakers. So, so we actually have a lot of like alumni who come back, every year, every other year, and they not just attendees, but they're showing new work based upon collaborations of people they met at the festival. So this is hopefully this will be next level things that Brian inspires us all to do. So Lucas, we haven't. I know you've been in like so many of our track sessions. So welcome back to the track.
Hello, everyone. Brian, everyone.
Nice to meet you, Lucas.
Nice to meet you. Yes, I was just listening because I am more like a traditional filmmaker, and I didn't do any VR yet. And well, I was just trying to figure it out how can an independent filmmaker can start with the VR, considering that it's not like traditional nowadays. Maybe in a few years, it will get more traditional kind of way to do films, but to get budget to a feature film or a short film, and nowadays you don't have actually the option to do like a full VR film, in the traditional market. So I was wondering how can an independent filmmaker can approach, or how can start to developing this new world that is emerging in the filmmaker, the film industry, and the film in general. But I think that the answer of this question was already answered but I don't know. I was just wondering that how can an independent filmmaker can have his first approach, with the VR and virtual world. But I don't know, Brian, you said that maybe you can use like LEDs, like TV LEDs, or like miniatures, or.
Yeah, I'm sure Brian can answer it. Also, Paul. Sure. Paul is an XR producer full time. So.
Yeah, as far as different ways to use this technology, yes. Besides green screen, besides LED walls, some people are, they are using the OLED TVs. Some of them are using, rear, projection to do their virtual productions or their. So there's a lot of different options there. You don't have to have the absolute latest and greatest tech. Not at all. So I'm sure that we could probably take a look at those different types of technologies together. It is my intention for the fellowship. We're in the midst of writing our phase 2 curriculum, which will be much more of a hands-on curriculum, talking about the different kinds of technologies, being able to actually get your hands on an actual, different types of trackable cameras and so forth. And, I've had a lot of requests from different people of, hey, can you give us and supply us, different levels and budgets of virtual production as to, how to go about affording this kind of technology for indie productions. So I want to be able to do that, and most likely, write some type of white paper on the project, or on the process, so that more people can have access to it.
It's awesome. Paul, do you have thoughts on that topic? I know it's your full-time thing.
No, I mean, that's coming from an expert. I think the only thing is maybe the idea of doing more collaborative work between environments. I think like if you don't have the resources that you need, maybe you can rely on someone else and be able to remotely produce. And that's it. It's really amazing stuff.
Cool.
Can I add one thing to that? I mean, also early on in the process, I would recommend to learn the software, learn Unreal, it's like get in there, start learning the software, because you can, by learning the software, don't get lost in learning everything about the software, but learn what you want to do, right? And it might spark all these ideas on how to produce it, and then you may notice, hey, I can do this. I can start with this smaller thing, but get in there and learn the software, learn how the workflow of the environment that you're going to be developing with, and then figure the other stuff out, but I think that's one of the first few steps. You got to go in there and learn that.
Just popping this up for folks who are interested, if you do go to unrealengine.com, we do have an online learning portal, which is really great. Sign up, get an account, and there are so many amazing videos on here of learning Unreal Engine that you'll be busy for weeks and months watching them all. But it's a good, excellent resource for people who want to learn specifically Unreal Engine from the ground up. Introduction to Unreal through all kinds of advanced topics. It's a really good resource for folks who are looking to learn.
If I can just dovetail off of that, Brian hit the nail on the head, and I was just about to bring up the same thing. But secondly, Robert brought up a great point. You can get practically anything you want out of the marketplace, and everything looks cohesive. It looks like it all belongs together. And at the end of the day, if you're in this to be a storyteller, filmmaker, like concentrate on the story. There's so much that you can get visually. Your production value goes through the roof when you use some of these assets from the Unreal store, that you can really just concentrate now on your storyline, and it all just looks amazing. And I mean, that learning portal, you could learn anything and everything on there, and it's free.
Yeah, if I may say, I did some pretty cool stuff using the Unreal platform, just scratching the surface. I mean, if you for instance, if you went into a marketplace and you found an environment that all of a sudden lent itself to a fantastic story that you wanted to dive into, you buy that asset, you open it up in Unreal, and you start playing around with the virtual cameras. The virtual cameras, and I think it's called Director. There's a bunch of there's a few different like components to Unreal that are kind of like separate, a whole separate area, a whole separate focus of Unreal that is entirely, you can almost say unrelated to the whole game development side of Unreal. you know, so I would strongly recommend find an asset. The Unreal Marketplace, they give away free environments all the time.
Every
and
week.
a lot of those free assets are like a whole city block. That's really cool, really great stuff for free. So you can download that platform for free. You can you can get some of the free assets. Yeah, he's showing you. You can get some of those free assets from the store and upload it into a project and start playing around with the virtual cameras in no time.
Yeah, we have a whole collection of permanently free assets that you can utilize. And then every month we have additional assets that go on, you know, they're just free for the month and then they go back into the library. And then I can't emphasize enough more than the Quixel assets that we have. The Quixel assets are incredible. They are scanned environments and scanned objects that the Quixel team goes around the world scanning all kinds of different locations. And they put together things that continuously blow my mind. The mega scans are a great option, not only for you know, the different environments, like this is Fantasy Fort here. There's this cyberpunk environment. This is pretty neat. Let me see if I can show that one. There we go. So there's a lot of different pieces to the whole Quixel asset set that are all kinds of scanned, you know, city, you know, city props, you know, different street things, you know, whether you want natural environments or, you know, urban environments, it's all in there. And it can be, if you're an Unreal Engine user, you can leverage all of it for free. And it used to be that you had to pay for all of these assets. If you're an Unreal Engine user now, you get all of this stuff and access to this for free. And it's amazing.
It's amazing.
Really.
And Unreal's free. I mean, just for proof of concept, to tell your story, if you ever wanted to pitch a Hollywood movie or whatever, I mean, you can block everything out there, and it just blows my mind. It's for free, and then you get the Quixel for free, and then you get free assets. There's no reason for you guys to be sleeping on this, really.
Yes, it's amazing.
Can you upload your own assets to that platform? So if you were to create your own, can anyone just upload anything they like?
Well, if you're interested in becoming, you know, wanting to sell your assets on the marketplace, there is a way that you can submit that for consideration.
Mm-hmm.
It does have to be looked at and vetted and so forth, and there is a process to it. It's not just like oh, I'll just upload it, you know, free and clear. You do have to, you know, it does have to be reviewed and vetted and so forth before it can actually go on sale for other people to buy and to utilize. But, you know, that process, once it's done, you know, it could be a potential revenue stream for you if you're, you know, interested in building models and creating environments for Unreal. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I create textures with sort of like physical materials, like very unusual stuff mixed with wax and all kinds of things like that. And then I turn it into a digital material that you can cover objects in. So I'm just wondering, because I know Unity has something like that where you can upload models, textures, other assets, things like that. Yeah, I was wondering if you could do the same with Unreal.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to find exactly where to and who to contact if you want to become a vendor. But yeah, it's certainly possible.
Awesome, thank you.
I just want to jump in and say that my 8-year-old is like a whiz at, you know, working in Unreal. I think anyone who's into gaming is going to find it really easy to navigate that environment, which is great. But I was also able to sort of get in there and use the Face AR kit and was able to do like a Shakespeare monologue, you know, and put it up on my Insta. And it didn't take very long. I think it's really, there's no way around sort of working with it, and it is a great thing to really work with, but it is an enormous piece of software, and I think you just gotta like figure out a purpose-driven methodology to using it, you know, as storytellers and filmmakers.
If I may, Prav, did you show the crew any of the other stuff that I did outside of the Black Ops movie?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, because that little mini series that I did was actually the one where I used an Unreal asset, and it was mostly green screen stuff. But if you guys are curious about that, that would be a great thing to show right now.
Yeah, go ahead. And then while you pull it up, so you guys, one of the things we did, we did the May the 4th Be With You game jam. So if you guys remember Anthony, he actually submitted a Star Wars short film that he made with Unreal Engine, right? So even our game jams we do for Unreal Florida, our user group, right? You don't have to submit a game. You can also, as a filmmaker, you can submit, and he's not a programmer. He did it all in blueprints. So you guys are definitely welcome to submit to the festival itself for the game engine track of the festival, but also Miami Sci-Fi with Unreal Florida. We host events, game jams throughout the year, and you can submit a short film. You don't have to submit a game, or you can make it as a cut scene for a game or something. So that's definitely very much available to you. And basically, when you win an award from us, we promote all of our, like you guys know, all the filmmakers who win awards from us. We go out of our way to promote you. So I don't want to give a cat out of the bag about who some of the winners are going to be, but there are some in this room right now. So. Are you going to share a screen? And then I think this will be the last thing, and then we'll just say bye to everyone. I don't want to go too over our time limit.
I'm kind of fumbling around with it a little bit because I haven't used this.
Okay, that's fine. Why don't I can add it to the YouTube, the description of the YouTube workshop you already shot for us. We'll just add it to that. That's fine.
Or I mean, you could do it. Just launch the trailer, Stuck in a Video Game with Rappers and Zombies, the one that you launched on the for the other thing.
Is it the beginning? Is it the beginning of your workshop?
Yeah, I think it was. It was Stuck in a Video Game with Rappers and Zombies. That has a trailer, and everything that was in that trailer was Unreal. And one of, I think, 3 different Unreal environments that I purchased.
Let me just play what I have. If it's this, then it's fine. If not, we'll just put it into the description here. And then everyone, all the panelists, and we'll just wrap up with a couple of minutes. You guys can say your goodbyes or how to contact you if you want to be contacted or stuff.
Yeah, that's it. You didn't show them that already, though, did you?
Recording started.
Yep.
Oh. Yeah. So all this was all Unreal actors. Unreal environments with real actors. Kind of fuzzy.
That was lit. No, that was lit. You a funny ass Jip.
So that was all just scratching the surface of what you can do with Unreal and just a green screen and just relatively basic, camera tracking and working with static images and stuff like that. But I thought that it would be.
Yeah, I can definitely attest, like the way Robert films, it's it's very accessible, and he's able to explain it and do it. And he does it all himself. So you guys can definitely, everyone in this room, I definitely believe in you, knowing your skill sets. You could pick this up. And Robert is self-taught, right? He figured it out on his own, and you all can as well. So yeah, thanks for that, Rob.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's, I mean, I can't stress that enough, that it's really, it's pretty easy if you can kind of navigate around, like video editors and.
Sure, if you want to put in your information, Rob, like your YouTube channel or whatever you like, maybe they can contact you directly.
Okay.
So,
yeah, sure.
And I'll put it in your description too of your workshop too. I think most people are going to see from there anyway. Cool, guys. So let's just go around the room. Maybe ladies first. Hazel, if you want to say your last words, and we'll say bye to everyone.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And I'm really excited to see what everyone comes up with within the next year. I'm definitely seeing, what I can do with AR and creating more AR experiences, because I think that's the direction I want to go in. I think there's a lot you can do with it, a lot of interesting things, because obviously you can't do like a full feature length anything with AR, I don't think. So I think it'd be interesting to condense a story or a message into maybe up to 3 minutes and have it as an AR experience. So yeah, I'm playing around with that right now.
Cool. Juan?
I just want to say, thank you very much for inviting me to be part of this panel. This is my first time coming to the film festival, and I had a lot of fun. And and I don't know Unreal that well. I'm more of a Unity user, but I'm really like the fact that Brian was here and he opened my eyes to new possibilities. So I'm gonna try to jump in there and try to learn that engine a lot more now. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Very intuitive.
Maybe I can add it to my curriculum. We'll see.
That's awesome.
That would be awesome.
So maybe some of the people that like Melissa and Veronica, if you have any last parting words to the audience.
I'll try to do that really quick and add it to my curriculum too, because I have been interested. I just my experience with Unreal was a long time ago, and when I first jumped into it, the learning curve was quite high for me at the moment. It was probably 5 or 6 years ago, and I'm for what I see here today, it looks like that has changed quite a bit.
Yeah, I started messing around with Unity, and then I got on Unreal, and I never looked back, because from my experience, Unreal was just so much more intuitive and streamlined. Like with Unity, I was just getting one compile error after another, which is one thing you don't have to deal with at all with Unreal. And that one thing alone, that was it for me.
Yeah, that's a good reason why we actually were going to have Unity people here, but I didn't want to get into that. He said, she said, so we kept it just Unreal today. We don't have to play referee between our. We were also the official Unity as well. I didn't want to start playing referee between our evangelists. So
where was that filter for me, man?
Yeah, man. So Melissa, what did you learn, and Veronica, and then we'll give it back to the panelists, and then we'll end. And Troy can have the last word. He's just popped in.
I thought that was very inspiring. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, no, that was very inspiring. It made me want to dive into the software now, and I mean, you call it software, right? To try an experiment, because like whatever we saw, I mean, some of them are really high end and complex to do, and you would want to hire someone to do it. But there's a few things I saw, I was like, oh, I can try to do that myself and see. And I want to learn more about the tracking, though, just to understand the concept. So I've been acting in projects where they had to do that, but it's never the same when you're on that other side of the camera. So I want to learn to do it. So my only experience with animation is motion, but I think that's really old now. But all I did was move in 2D some little things. So this is really exciting. So thank you all for that. And I hope you can all post your social media or something so we can keep.
Oh yeah,
track
yeah.
of
You guys
your
should do
work.
it now because the chat disappears after the session's over. So Veronica.
I'd just like to, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No problem.
Okay, just want to say I'm very thankful to be here with all of you, and we're looking forward to putting out Unreal into the studios here in Miami and seeing what all the local talent can do with it. And we're very excited for that. And thank you everyone again for this amazing evening. Sorry, please go ahead.
Not a problem. Thanks. I just mind blown and so much information that I need to absorb right now to take in and start researching more deep. I just want to thank you guys for the willingness, the humble, and the openness of sharing knowledge that new generations are coming and we're going to need it. And I appreciate that kindness of you, each one of you that had the time today and tonight in different time zones. I understand that. And that kindness of, willingness to share with us the knowledge that we're just in baby steps, and that's much appreciated. And thank you for being here tonight.
Sure. And then Lucas, Jet, then Tyler and Nikhil, and then we'll finish with Brian unless Troy makes a return. We'll end it there. So Lucas, yeah.
I want to thank everyone here. For me, it's an honor to be in this panel. Thank you, Brian, Alvaro, Juan, Jet, Paul, Robert, because this is, as I said before, this is a new world for me. So I got the inspiration to try and to start with little things. So thank you so much for that. And well, I hope that we can see more work of each and every one of us here. Well, thank you, Braven, Veronica, and also Troy and everyone on the Miami SciFi for giving this opportunity. So I am truly grateful. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, it's funny. This is almost like it can be an evergreen video for us, Veronica. Like we didn't get into all the details of coding, so that's not going to change, right? So it can be just inspirational about how to get into this and motivate yourself to learn new things. So, Jet.
Praveen, Veronica, thank you very much. I feel really grateful being in the presence of these amazing storytellers and content creators. I just want to tell you that if you have any stories, please get them out there. Use Unreal and get your stories out. Don't get caught up in, I don't have a camera, or I don't have actors, or I don't. Get your story out there. Be heard. Get heard. If you have any questions, you can find me on LinkedIn, and I could talk to you about Unreal all you want.
Yeah, if you can post it on the chat, it's great, man. Tyler, they actually submitted the VR for the festival.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to up my game by checking out Unreal. I did. Super quick question was just, does Unreal let you export or record 360 videos? Obviously, you can use VR to record these videos, but can you export 360 videos?
I believe there is capabilities for doing that. I personally have not done it, but I can possibly find out for you. I'll be putting my email in the chat here. So if you want to hit me up, I'll do some research for you to find out the steps for that.
Yeah, but yeah, thanks everybody. And I guess look forward to.
Yeah, you can see Tyler again tomorrow. We're going to do an XR session with Paul, so Tyler will be part of that, so you can see his more in depth about his VR piece. And Nikhil.
Prof, thanks for doing this, man. This was really, really useful, and it was great connecting with all of you folks. Thank you so much for your time and all the information. I really think this is all going to be about collaboration. I mean, I worked in VFX, and I know just how many people it takes to get like one little scene put together. And even with Unreal, we can do a lot by, ourselves, but I think the collaborations are what makes something shine. So I'm looking forward to connect with all of you folks.
It's awesome. And then we'll leave the last two for Alvaro and Brian.
Oh, hello, sorry. Yeah, man, I mean, really great to be part of this. Thank you, Troy, and thank you for organizing all this. It's been amazing. Again, like 5 years ago, even 6, I think, I submitted Sumer with another kind of, now looks like ancient technology. And it's great to see this happening right now. So just if I can use my goodbye as well, a part of thanking everyone here, because it's been quite inspiring to see this kind of wave of new filmmakers jumping into this. I want to show you more or less what I'm going to do tomorrow.
Yeah. If you can preview.
Yeah, it's basically, I do this kind of, I do this kind of challenges of trying to do a shot in 1 hour from scratch. So for example, here you can see I'm taking one of the shots of the city of Yuna, and I'm just showing a little bit of the breakdown of the scenes, how we change the lighting. If I jump here to this kind of cyberpunk style to different kind of lightings with God rays, I'm playing around with that. So to me, is to break some myths about I'm gonna need like a lot of time to learn this. And what I usually do, not in this specific test, but oops, that's another video, not in this test, but actually in other tests, I start from scratch. So yeah, that's the plan tomorrow. We are gonna just build something in this style, just to break some myths and see how in 1 hour we can build something with this style. But yeah, again, amazing to be part of this and amazing to see all the collaborations happening from here.
Cool, man. Can you tell everyone what time your session is tomorrow?
I would like to know.
Okay, that's fine. Veronica can post it.
I think it's because I have a mess of if it's Florida time or ES. I don't want to mess it now.
Plus, we have daylight savings time, so
I need to do math.
Everyone on Sunday is going to be off who's overseas because you guys don't have daylight savings time overseas.
Okay.
So, all right, Brian, last word is yours.
Sure. I had a great time. I really appreciate you inviting me to this. I too will share some stuff just for people who are interested in Unreal. I want you to be able to know that the fellowship, we're out there for you, and there are ways to apply. I'll pop this up here real quick. This is our website for Unreal Fellowship, unrealengine.com. And go to fellowship. You can just copy that down there and go through it, go down to the bottom and fill out this form so that it basically expresses your interest in the fellowship. We will be opening up the application process again in the near future. So if you fill this out, we will inform you when that process happens. And then just also to this year, a little bit of more information on the fellowship, where we're currently at, how many people we've trained and so forth. But these links to our Vimeo showcases, you should check these out. There's over 225 films in here that you can watch if you're interested. And that's my email address down at the below. Feel free to contact me. I'm also on LinkedIn. Look me up. I'll gladly accept your request to connect. And it's been a pleasure meeting you all.
All right, great, guys. So everyone remember, save the chat. You click on the 3 ellipses and you can save the chat locally. So you don't have to, you can get everyone's email address if they posted it. And thanks, guys. And we'll see you tomorrow and we have a couple workshops tomorrow with Tyler, Paul, and Alvaro. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. And I'll leave it running for like a minute so you guys have time to save the chat before I end the meeting. And
thanks, Rob.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you
so
so
much.
much.
Nice meeting you all.
Yes.
Nice to meet you, Paul.
Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you, Brian.
Bye. Thank you.
Nice to meet you guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Nice to meet everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Ciao. Thank you.
Hey, Brian, can I sneak in a question here real quick? Do you guys have something similar of the fellowship for video game development?
No, we don't, but there are a lot of training partners out there who are Unreal training centers that would be happy to take you on, I'm sure, in that particular capacity. And obviously a lot of universities and schools that also teach and have gaming programs would probably have that ability as well. But who knows? There might be something for a fellowship for game developers in the future. we're looking at all kinds of other different types of market verticals and industries that we want to give fellowships to as well, other than just to the media and entertainment industries. But in all good time, in all good, it's going to take time.
All right, thank you.
Brian, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, of course.
I am applied for the Unreal grant because I'm trying to expand on my abilities to get into mixed reality.
Right.
You know, utilizing exactly the technologies that you showcased in that video. Would you happen to know if there's on the filmmaker side if Unreal is more particularly interested in certain types of films, like what they're looking for?
Well, the mega grant process, I'm not on the board of selectors, the people that evaluate, but I know that there is X amount of money per year that they are allocating for people who are applying for mega grants, and there are 5 different categories. I know that much. And if you do have a film, my general recommendation for people who are applying for mega grants, depending upon the dollar figure, obviously the higher the dollar figure, the more you need to make sure you have a good presentation prepared. But there isn't anything specific in the way of like a specific genre or if it is like, oh yeah, we're only looking for animated stuff. No, we're looking for all kinds of different things that utilize our technology. So you don't have to worry about if it's a specific type of film. Don't worry about that.
So is it more like project based? Because I was kind of hoping that they would help studios kind of get to a point where they're more capable of doing more for as opposed to like a specific film or a specific game that somebody's working on developing, to get the grant to help, specifically for something like that.
Sure. I mean, the mega grants, there is a category I know for developers and such. There's a category for education. There's a category for creative content. But I think there are specific rules and limitations as far as how the money can be used. It's not like I don't think it's available for like financing studios 100% in any way, like with hardware and that kind of thing. It's more about using the engine and in a creative capacity to produce something. So but I don't have much more information than that.
So we actually, we have a Discord group, Rob, for our user group here, and luckily some of our members just got awarded grants. So you can ask them directly.
Hey, but
they're all local as well.
If I can help you, just to give you a hint, because we were lucky to have a mega grant this year for the Sito Yuna.
Oh, that's awesome. Congrats.
Thank you, man. I mean, it's like,
awesome.
As you can imagine, it's like
really cool.
Great now to see this amount of support. What I can tell you, I mean, Brian already pointed well, like you have 5 categories and it's for a specific project, but obviously R&D, as you can imagine, is something, once you have the benefit for a project, that doesn't stop you to use that developed technology in other projects. It's not like if you buy a motion capture suite for your project, doesn't mean that you need to use that motion capture suite for that specific project. So I think it's been talking with the Mega Grants team, they are pretty aware that there are different needs for different kind of films, for different kind of projects. And obviously it's not like, no, yeah, if you use a motion capture, you need to use this for this specific project. What I would say is like have a killer project that opens you the door, and then that's gonna fuel somehow your company. And it's what is working with the Sito Yuna. We are putting the budget in the Sito Yuna, but obviously we have a motion capture now solution. I have another project. It's no, this motion capture is just an IP for this project. So that's a smart way of, but this is more like about business direction. Like you have a budget, and any VFX company, when they have like, they have different projects, R&D is not, you don't rebuy R&D. R&D belongs to the company, So unless it's something quite niche and specific for a specific IP. So that's my advice. Just have a killer, massive, beautiful pitch deck with a Bible.
It's on the pitch, right?
So it's pitching at the end of the day. It's the same practice as Brian said, like you need just to
Yeah,
showcase
actually,
that.
you guys, this is a good point though, because a lot of the people, we're actually hosting the big indie event later this month. Do you guys know about Indie DevCon?
I don't.
Let me share the link.
What's it called? Indie DEF CON?
Here it is. Indie. Here, I'm going to share my screen.
Okay, awesome, thanks.
Indie World Order. So we actually developed a lot of this in South Florida, but it's one of the largest like indie developer events in the world. And we actually just released our Steam app as well for this. So you guys can download the Steam app. We built the entire 3D world, just like Hazel did, but they use Altspace. We created our own from scratch using Unreal Engine. So this starts in next week, actually.
Mm-hmm.
This is the event here, and then it's go to indiegamelover.com, and this is here's our Steam. Basically, it's a free Steam app, basically. And here, let me just play the trailer. It's kind of cool. We're kind of pretty proud of it. And this is also produced in Unreal. This trailer.
I recognize the. I totally recognize the little map there.
So yeah, we spent over a year doing this. We funded this on Patreon. In fact, I'm the top Patreon contributor to this project. But I didn't want to like
very cool.
Start talking about all this other stuff during the film festival. This is really our user group. I wanted to keep. I don't want all of our worlds to always collide every time we do an event.
They're ripped.
Yeah, sure.
It looks like Sea of Thieves, but
yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, and this type of stuff, we have a really active Discord group and obviously a meetup, and so all these places you can definitely meet. And then we're gonna do an award. We do a lot of like like these indie game developer events and awards things, because we have a lot of indie Unreal developers throughout Atlanta to South Florida, and we all meet near University of Miami, and I'm one of the judges as well. We give out prizes for that. That's mostly game development stuff, but what we do is we also like to celebrate our members. So the people who just got mega grants, they've been working on it for years. It wasn't a quick process, so we're going to do a little celebration. We've been holding off on it until after lockdown's over, and so but they're going to talk about their process. It took them like it was actually a multi-year process for them. So I don't want it to give you a hope that's going to be like real quick. So, but
very cool.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think we've kept Brian, everyone's long enough. So I'm gonna.
No worries.
Thank you.
This is old hat.
Keep their day schedule going.
Thank you for the extra bits.
All right,
yeah,
guys.
Good luck with everything.
See ya.
Thanks again, Brian.
You bet.
Nice to meet you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.